Hey everybody, welcome to the Grand Scheme. This is Grant Kahonu here. I haven't posted any videos in a while, primarily because I made the switch from Android to an iPhone, and so that's a little bit more difficult to do the videos here for YouTube. What was nice about Android is I could do the screen recording direct from the phone, and I could upload to YouTube direct from the phone, so that made it easy. So it's taken me a little bit to figure out how exactly to do this on the computer and put it together. But something else that I was never able to do when I was running an Android is attempt a legend run. And so now that I have an iPhone and the loading times are so much faster, it is now time to attempt to get that legend badge. And so what I want to do here today is just show you my setup and how I've planned for the legend run. In preparing for this, I have looked at other videos, watched other people attempt legend runs, and usually it's a 4 or 5 hour stream watching the entire fight, but not a lot of information as far as mastery setup and things like that. And perhaps the reason for that is people are very protective of getting too many people in the legend pool. But that's not my concern. So, and I don't want to bore you with 4 hours of watching me play. So this is going to be a introductory video just to show you my setup and what I have done to prepare, and then a follow-up video once I've completed my run, which I'm going to begin here in just a few minutes. So, first off, my team. I am going to be running Storm and Magic, both at 5-star and rank 4 level 55. Magic is not duped, but she should still be very good for this quest. And then of course Storm is awakened. I believe she's a signature level 28. Right, 28. And then the rest of the team is just filling out the mutant synergies so that we can have the critical boosts and attack boosts. So we have the armor and perfect block on Storm with the critical rating. With Magic we have armor and perfect block. With Magneto we have armor, critical rating, attack, and critical damage. Cyclops attack, critical damage, and 12% special attack boost, which is going to be very nice for Storm. Hoping to finish off most opponents with her first special, the first time she shoots that off, and then with Wolverine, of course, the critical rating, critical damage. So that's the team that I'm going to be running for the quest. As far as my mastery setup, this is a fully loaded suicide setup with maxed assassin. And again, this is going to take quite a bit of health off if these fights run too long, and so the goal is to finish these obviously as quickly as possible. Again, because I hope to be able to finish most fights with Storm's first special, if she takes that long to finish them, I went ahead and maxed out recoil. So that'll do a lot of damage if I don't kill them with that, but the plan is to kill everybody with that special attack. My defense, this is more in defense than ideally I would like to have for doing things very quickly, but we need 15 points in defense to open up willpower and coagulate, and I need that there, the willpower and the coagulate, so that we just don't bleed out or poison out because of the suicides on. And then finally, utility. Just 1 point in limber and dexterity and 3 points in parry, because we do want that little bit extra time there. Plus it gives us a little bit extra buffer on reducing the damage taken there. So that's the mastery setup that we're going with. Finally, let me show you what I'm doing as far as my inventory and my boosts. I purchased, well, let's just go there to the store. First off, I purchased the Advanced Alliance Quest Bundle, which gives you the 30% greater champion boost for health and attack, and the 20% attack boost and 25% health boost. So I've got 3 of those. I'm going to be running those most of the time, but I also have one 30% boost that came with a compensation package from Kabam some time ago. So I've got 4 of those here. What I probably will do is start just with a 30% boost and then add on the 20% boosts and the 25% health boost once I clear the first part of Heroic. You'll also notice that I have my energy refills maxed out. I've got 10 here, and I've got another 25 or so in my stash. So I've got plenty of energy to complete the full run without having to purchase any. Okay, so that's everything I've got set up going. I'm going to activate those boosts before I begin the quest. I want to show you something else though that I have done, and that is for a legend run, we can't be caught off guard when it comes to the maps. And so what I've done here is made a run through the normal quest just so that I could lay out the maps. And so as I did that, I went through and I took screenshots of the maps and I pieced them together so that I have a full layout of every map in the quest, so that I know exactly where I'm going and exactly what paths I'm going to be taking on every run of every map. Finally, what I've done also is I had another Alliance buddy of mine take some screenshots of the boss nodes, and so I want to know what I'm getting into. Obviously these Heroic and Master boss nodes are quite a bit more buffed than the normal, and so I needed to know what I was getting through or getting into coming into Master especially. And so I've got the screenshots here showing how those nodes are buffed, and this still should be pretty manageable. I don't have a poison champion really to take on King Groot here, but the stun vulnerability should come in handy with Storm if I have to use her. My plan is to use magic for King Groot, but we know how plans work out a lot of times. They tend to change. Angela doesn't look too terribly hard. Her specials are easy to evade. The strike back is not going to be a problem, especially if we make it to Magic's second special. We can just power lock her, so that's not going to be an issue at all. Deadpool may be a little tricky with his recovery. If he hits that regeneration at the when he's low on health and regenerates his full health, that may add some unwanted, unneeded time on our run. And so the plan is here, if I can time this correctly, to use magic on this fight as well and use her first special to nullify, or even her third special to nullify that regen when it activates. Preferably the first special. We want to avoid special 3s at all costs because the animation just takes too long and it increases our time. Finally, I don't think Hood or Joe Fixit are going to be a problem, but this Moon Knight might be a little tricky. He's only 11.5 on his PI. My Storm will be quite a bit higher than that, but I've been keeping an eye on his cycle, the phase of the moon, and so he is in full moon right now. I was hoping he would be out of it, but as of 30 minutes ago he was still in full moon, which means that according to this node buff, the benefits of every lunar phase are going to be applied to Moon Knight, which means he is going to evade, he is going to bleed, he is going to stun, he's going to be activating a lot of different buffs, precision I believe, and some other things. So if we hit him on his uptide especially, I think this may be a little tricky where he has the power gain, power flood in addition to all of these things. So we'll just have to keep an eye out on him. So I think he's going to be a little trickier than the other bosses just because of the timing of this. So anyway, that's all that I have done as far as preparation goes. We are ready to activate the boosts, get into the quest, and knock this thing out. I've seen times running about 4.5 hours. My goal is to do this in 4. And so right now it is where I am at 11:58 a.m., 2 minutes before noon. As you can see right there, I actually just switched over to 11:59. So we're going to start this at noon, and the plan is to be done by 4 p.m. So I'm going to cut out now, and I will jump back in here and finish this thing off when we're done with the legend run. We'll see how it goes. We'll see you soon. Alright, we're back and we are done. We have completely explored Heroic and Master of King Groot's Loot event quest. My goal was to finish this in 4 hours and 15 minutes, but did not quite make that. My total time actually ended up being just at 4.5 hours, which I've seen a few other people post their results on the legend attempt, and it seems like this 4.5 hours is about what is going for. So I did the exploration of Heroic in 1 hour and 51 minutes, and the exploration of the Master level took me 2 hours and 39 minutes for a total of 4 hours, 30 minutes, and 18 seconds. I probably could have done this a little bit faster if I hadn't had some connectivity issues a few times where the loading screen just kind of froze up for me. I got worried I was going to have to restart the game, but it finally came through and we moved on. But that added a few minutes to our run. Also, something else that I think would have helped is if I had been fully boosted the whole time. Now, as I showed you before I started, I had some 30% champion boosts that boost health and attack, and then I had some 20% attack boost, 25% health boosts. The health boosts didn't actually come in very handy. I didn't really need those. But what I did is I started with a 10% boost on exploring the first 2 maps of Heroic, and let me just pull that up here. These first 2 maps of Heroic, what is it called? Character creation and random encounter. I used the 10% boost there and finished most fights in 2 or 3 hits. If I had been had the 30 and the 20% active, I would have been able to finish those in 1 hit. But the problem was I only had 3 hours of full boost with both of those, plus 1 hour with only a 30%, and I didn't want to have those boosts run out when I was on the last map of the Heroic. And so I started with a just a 10, or sorry, the last map of the Master. I started with a 10% boost on exploring these 2 completely, and then I went to Chapter 2 of the Heroic, and I activated one single 30% boost and did full completion of those maps on Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, one run through all of those, and then went back and explored all of Chapter 2 and the first map of Chapter 3, and then from the last map here, critical hit against King Groot on Heroic, I activated the 30% plus the 20% and ran that from that point on all the way through Master level. And then what I did with Master is I did one run completely through, and once I completed that, I explored this last map of Chapter 3, so 3.2 of Master, fully boosted with the 30 and the 20, plus I added the mutant special attack boosts and completely explored that map, and then completely explored 3.1 with the Angela boss. That way I could make sure that I had everything loaded for the two hardest maps, and then I went back and started to explore with Chapter 1, Map 1, and that way I could just hit the replay from that point on out. Now, I'm not sure that that was the most effective use of the time as far as jumping around in the maps, but it was, in my mind, the most effective use of the boosts. As far as my thoughts on the whole process, first of all, I'd say 4.5 hours is a long time to play. I did really good up until about 3 hours and 45 minutes, and then about that mark, started getting tired, really wanting this to be over with, and the loading screens just could not go by fast enough. Even with the iPhone 6s here, with the loading times being extremely fast compared to the Android, it still got very tiresome to watch those, especially when many of the loading screens lasted longer than the fights themselves. But otherwise, it wasn't a bad run. I really didn't have any problems with the bosses. I mentioned before I started that I was a little bit worried about Moon Knight. My first run into him in the master level, I did mess up and got hit, and he stun locked me for about 15 seconds. And finally I got out of that stun and was able to beat him pretty quickly. The remaining runs all the way through, I easily soloed him with Storm. But like I said, if you mess up and you get hit once in that full moon phase, then that's going to be a problem. He's going to be out of full moon soon, and so he shouldn't be that big of a deal for the rest of this event, because I don't think he'll make it back into full moon before that's over. As far as Deadpool, my strategy with magic did work on him. I managed to use her first special to nullify his regeneration at the end of the fight. So he wasn't a problem. And then, honestly, my thoughts on Angela and King Groot, neither one of those posed a challenge. Magic worked through them pretty quickly. King Groot was a bit harder than Angela, but nowhere near as difficult as, say, Mordo was when he was the boss, or even Iceman on the last map of the last event quest. She managed to get to her second special and power locked him, and after that it was over. Usually took about 20 to 25 hits on Groot King Groot to take him out. So that's my thoughts on this. If I were to do it again, I don't think I will. If I don't make the legend run, I just may not even attempt this anymore. But if I were to do it again, I would probably purchase two of these advanced quest bundles, so that I could make sure that I was fully boosted for 100% of the run. And doing that in addition to not having connectivity issues, I think we could have probably done this in 4 hours 15 minutes to 4 hours and 20 minutes. I'm not sure how we could have done it any faster than that. But it is what it is. I owe a huge shout out to my alliance. We were in war at the time this started. I've been planning this legend run for weeks and thought we would be finished with our war by the time I was going to begin, and it didn't turn out that way. We were actually in a losing war, and my alliance stepped up to help us clear the boss in my battle group so that my champions could be released and I could start my run. It looked like we were going to win our war for a while there. Let me see if I can pull that up with that boss kill, because the other group was behind. Let's see the Guardians of the Alliance there, a French alliance, and so it looked like we were going to win with that boss kill because they were pretty far behind, but they pushed through at the last 20 minutes or so, and they got a boss kill, which put them ahead of us because they did beat us in exploration there. So we lost that battle, and so we spent some units and some resources to win to clear a war that we did not win. And so I owe a huge debt of gratitude to my alliance. They are a group of great guys and girls. and really appreciate being a part of that. So anyway, that is my legend run and my summary of it. I hope that this helps you if you're considering a legend run. I hope that you get some ideas on what to do as far as mastery setup, as far as boosts and team synergies, and then also just planning out your run. If it does help you, please like the video and share it. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you and get suggestions on what you might have done differently to improve the time here. Of course, as always, until next time, smoke it down. This is Grant Kahonu. We'll catch you later.